Hello. Let's start this game. This is a fictional interactive narrative. Any character that resembles real life people are purely coincidental. Also, please know that the following game is made for PG-16 audiences. Ooh. Please know that sexual violent themes are explored in this game. Trigger warnings are abuse, implied rape, suicide. You have been warned. Please enjoy.
Why, hello.
Hello.
My, aren't you a gorgeous sight? Can I be honored enough to know your name?
Yes, you can. Your name be? Guess I'll just go with my actual name.
A lovely
Gosh.
name for a lovely person like you. Wonderful.
Eric, do your job.
Yes, dude.
Very well. This game was produced by Seraphim Entertainment under the direction of Michaela Laws and is powered by Ren'Py Visual Novel Engine. We truly hope you'll enjoy this story. I know I'll enjoy it since you'll be in it.
Of course.
Eric.
Fine, fine.
Hey, thank you. Day.
Farewell, my sweet.
Somewhere. Jesus. I think it is.
Come on! Is that all you got?
Now it's violent.
Wanna try me, asshole? Crap! Missed.
Let's retreat for now.
Good luck.
No kidding. Let's get out of here.
That's right. You better run, you stupid punks! Stay out of our territory!
Call it fate or call it coincidence, that one moment of violence started a chain I can't read today. Started a chain of events that I will never forget.
This formula, created in the 70s, is one of the most important in the field of financial
Now we
thinking.
got school.
It is used to calculate the price of European-style options and is widely used by
I'm bored.
option marketers, though there are some discrepancies that are now corrected with the modern viewpoint.
Rain. It's been a long time since we've gotten rain around here, but it is the season for rainy weather, so it's not exactly surprising. Personally, I love the sound of it. The way the raindrops fell like soft tapping fingers. It was soothing. Even looking at the droplets hit the glass window was so strangely calming. For this reason, I felt lucky for having a seat next to the window, though I did spending more time staring out the window than I did paying attention to class. The lectures in this class were pretty boring. Miss Phillips' voice was horrific, but I just wasn't interested in what she was saying. And since it was the period right before lunch, all I could think about was doing other things in my free time, like eating. I want to eat now. Honestly, I didn't really care much for economics. Sure, I had good grades in this class, but it was only because I read the textbook and did my assignments I had to. I was only taking this class because it was mandatory. If it were up to me, I would probably have taken another course. Luckily, it was my senior year, so after this semester, it would mean the end of high school courses forever. Thank God for that. I didn't hate high school. It was just kind of mundane how the days drifted on, as if there were no end to it. The only thing I really enjoyed about going to school was meeting my friends and hanging out with them. That was kind of it. In short, I was done with high school school. The start of the second semester brought a note of finality to it. I had already applied to many universities the semester prior and was expecting replies sometime in the next few months. It seemed like the start of something new, something that would change. That is, if things could change. I stared at a faint outline of raindrops in the distance. For now, I was stuck in class.
Miss Anderson.
Miss Phillips raised a voice to interrupt my train of thought. Just when I was thinking about class, I quickly turned my head to face the teacher. Hopefully she didn't pick me just because she noticed I was spacing out. That's exactly why she picked you. Yes, ma'am.
Would you care to name the equation I set up on the blackboard?
An equation. Oh, I think I read about that in the textbook last night. It should be the Black Souls formula model.
Very good as always, Miss Anderson.
Anderson. It followed me wherever I went. Most people didn't really know me by my first name, but rather by my surname. No doubt, since the surname was the trademark of the internationally famous and prolific Anderson Family Toys, and because founder was my own grandfather. Suzu, one of my best friends, turned around and proudly gave me a punch in the shoulder.
Kick ass, girl.
From beside me, I heard Naomi, another one of my best friends, clearing her throat, obviously in disapproval of Suzu's choice of words.
She means good job.
I know what she means.
Miss Capini.
Oi!
Care to tell me who the creators of this formula were?
Some guys named Black and Shoals.
Fisher Black and Myron Scholes.
Very good, Miss Patterson.
Marty.
Show off.
Better study next time, Suzu. Be like us and study once in a while.
Suzu rolled her eyes and slouched in her chair as Naomi gave her a smile smirk. She always pouted when Naomi showed her up.
That's the end of today's lecture. Now, let's separate into groups and work on your projects. Remember, everything is due on Monday. Go ahead now.
Before I knew it, Suzu and Naomi had scooted their desks to align with mine, and we turned into the Three Musketeers. Whenever the teacher let students decide our own groups, we always grouped together in our little trio. Whoa. Oh, thank you for the follow! It was sheer stroke of luck that we all managed to be in the same class, so we had to at least take the opportunity and stick together as much as we could. Besides, we were most comfortable around each other than, say, compared to being around any other classmate. It made sense for us to put our heads together for any kind of project. I took out a poster we were working on and rolled it open out to 3 desks. We were pretty much finished with fulfilling the most of the guidelines and the project, though. We did still have to add a few touches here and there. After working on the poster, I can't read today. After working on the poster making the poster a bit prettier, we sat back and inspected to see what we still had to do. Naomi, as usual, was the first to look for any issues. She lightly tapped her pencil against her chin, staring intently at the project.
Alright, so let's see. We finished the budgeting section, the building leasing, and the cost for labor. What else do we need?
A lot of reading. That's why Suzu straightened up and looked at the poster and stroked her chin. After a few seconds, her face brightened and she
How
spoke
about a
up.
company name?
Huh? Did we really skip over that?
Did.
Of course we did. You always go straight into the logical statistics and stuff that you completely skip over the fact. We need a name for our projects.
At least we caught it this time. What do we name it?
Not sure. What do you think?
It always came down to me whenever there was something to be named or titled. I was the master and ending decision when I didn't want to be.
I like Trinity Corporations.
Yeah, I like that one.
That is way too predictable. How about the Dragon Company?
What do dragons have to do with our project?
What? It's a totally unpredictable name. It's hot.
But our company sells bubblegum.
I mean, you could have dragons on the logo.
Who said we can't produce spicy bubblegum?
Yes, point?
What do you think?
Yeah. What do you think?
Both of them looked at me expectantly, even though I wasn't quite sure myself. I didn't really want to choose side, but if it were up to me, I would say I still think Trinity Corporation is better. Dragon is cool, but nah. It doesn't make sense.
Fine. Be lame.
At least Trinity kind of makes sense, because it's...
Alright, now that we've decided on a name, now what?
Really, neither of them really make sense for selling bubblegum. As we ended our name game, I scrambled my thoughts. Huh? Who was that?
Ignore it. It's just Lisette.
I looked over my shoulder to see her laughing with her circle of friends, mostly comprised of popular people that were particularly friends with everyone in the school. And as a result, everyone in the school knew them. In the center of it all was Lisette White. She sat with a posture that indicated she was still working, but also she was ready to casually chat about her day. She had an endearing balance of charismatic and awkward, which was readily apparent when she first talked to someone. It was easy to make her smile and laugh, and she was quite the comedian as well. Basically, she was perfect. She can't be perfect if she's awkward. Not that she was a robot or something, but she was the student that everyone else wanted to be. Lisette was bright, easygoing, and all above had a future laid out in front of her. Unlike average... Oops. Gotta save, I guess. Unlike average students, she knew what she wanted to do after high school, and as a result, she was confident, ambitious, though sometimes it could rub people the wrong way. Moreover, I had known her ever since I was young, and ultimately resulted in a rivalry that continued to today. Of course, my friends knew that what was between us, and upon seeing me glance at her, they shifted their attention to her.
She doesn't even look like she's working, in my opinion.
She's probably not.
She probably is, but she's too much of a stuck-up priss to allow herself to look like she's actually doing work.
Oh, come on, Suzu. She may be a little off-putting, but she's not the giant priss that you're making her seem to be.
Ah, why do I keep hitting that?
The day she isn't a priss is the day I turn into you.
What's that supposed to mean?
Never mind. It's about time! Let's bail!
Damn, that was fast. Unsurprisingly, Suzu was the first one out of the classroom, slinging her backpack over her shoulder with ease as she quickly strolled out the door.
Her seat isn't even closest to the exit, and she always manages to be the first one out of the door. I don't think I'll ever understand that.
I guess if you're fast, you're fast. I wish I was as fast as her getting out of here. Me and you both now. I don't know. I don't know. Naomi folded her eyes in her chest and giving me a disappointed look.
Oh, not you too. She's turning you into a delinquent.
I don't see how that's turning me into delinquent. Haha, it's a joke, Naomi.
Well, it's not really funny.
Man, you guys are slow. Are you coming or what?
We heard you the first time.
How are
Not
you two
everyone has rocket
friends?
boosters attached to their legs when the bell rings.
Are you kidding me? That class was ridiculously boring. Even Miss Valedictorian here was dozing off a bit.
I do have to admit I was spacing out. Just because I answered one question doesn't mean I'm automatically the valedictorian.
Okay, so it wasn't too interesting. But you should at least pay attention when Phillips is talking about the important parts.
So you finally admit it. We're finally on the same wavelength. Welcome to the club, Patterson.
Please, don't call me by my last name. This isn't the classroom. And never in a million years will we ever see things eye to eye.
Despite this, they both burst out in laughter. Normally, anyone would think that opposites like them wouldn't dissociate with each other, but even though they were so different, their friendship somehow made a lot of sense. Maybe they were just perfect complements, or personalities just didn't dictate the possibility of their friendship. After all, we three had been best friends since preschool.
Alright, so where are we heading to first? Cafeteria? I think we can all agree that we're really hungry.
I'm hungry.
Especially after hearing about our company's line of deliciously spicy bubblegum.
Yeah.
Who would even buy that? I wonder.
Me? I would pay good money to get a taste of it.
Haha, you do like spicy food after all. I keep hitting that. We entered the cafeteria, a bustling room filled with aromas of different kinds of food. As we get in line, we ordered our meals and chatted freely.
Cajun fries and the spicy chicken burger for me. That's my definition of a good meal.
That sounds really good.
I'll take a tuna sandwich and some juice.
What kind of
Probably
school
want
is
some
this?
Water or something to curb all that spicy flavor, Suzu.
I can't be tamed by the likes of that. If it's spicy, then it's gotta be all or nothing.
You're crazy.
Hell yeah, I'm crazy.
I think I'm getting a migraine.
I think I'll go with just mac and cheese and a soda, Cajun fries and a spicy chicken. Yeah, that one. Might as well go spicy today. Once we got our food, we settled down at our empty tables, putting on our backpacks aside to finally dig into the food. Suzu leaned back in her chair, tilting it so that she could rest her feet on the table by her food.
All right then.
Ew.
Is there anything we want to talk about?
No?
Bored already?
I know. Let's talk about...
Say boys, and I will never speak to you ever again.
Aw, why not?
What's so interesting about talking about guys? It's not like any of us are gonna get boyfriends anytime soon.
We don't know that. What if one of us does get a boyfriend?
Like that's going to happen, Naomi. Look at us. I'm a tiny Italian. You're a ditzy blonde.
Hey!
What am I?
No offense. And Anderson
She looks
here.
orange.
Wow.
Or girlfriend?
Oops, I clicked
She
too
can
soon.
be lesbian if she wants.
True.
That's okay, Zuzu. I'm not sure I want a boyfriend yet.
Why not? It's our senior year. Might as well get a boyfriend.
Might as well, but I'd rather like the guy.
Maybe she's just not interested in a relationship, Suzu.
Yeah, maybe I'm just not interested. Well, really wasn't about wanting a relationship, but there's no one interested enough to be in a relationship with. Don't get me wrong, I'm an open person, but there were not many interesting guys in the school to go out with. Who knows? Time will tell. Naomi looked at me wanting to continue the conversation. However, before she could speak, the speakers in the cafeteria started up and an announcement echoed through the cafeteria.
Miss Anderson, please come to the main office immediately.
Ooh,
Please bring your things with you.
what did I do?
Oh my.
Looks like our plans have been cut short. The men in white coats have finally come to get you.
That wasn't funny.
Suzu, don't joke around. What if it's serious?
Fine. If something happens, just call us.
Funny enough, something did happen. and it certainly was no laughing matter. Cold. It was really cold. The rain was heavier that afternoon, accompanied by the rolling of thunder now and then. The skies turned black, though I couldn't see any of it under my black umbrella. Not that I was looking up. In fact, looking up was the opposite of what I wanted to do. I stared at the grass beneath my feet, unable to look up at the people weeping around me. All I could see was the damp grass underneath my feet. Only monotone eulogies that floated through my ears reminded me that I was at a funeral. It was only when the speeches ended I finally raised my head. Aww! A small gathering of mostly made of relatives that I didn't even know were related to me were huddled around the small, simple grave. For a while, all I heard was the sound of raindrops on umbrellas. If it weren't raining, everything would probably be a heavy silence. I looked beside me where my father was standing, holding up a large black umbrella for a small family of 3. His face was emotionless and a strange sight next to the weeping mother. I wondered what was going through his mind. After all, etched in the smooth gray tombstone before us was his father's name. My grandfather, the one who raised me like his own daughter, had passed away that day. The ceremony was small. Only close family were allowed to come. Slowly, though, people began to leave, leaving my father, mother, and me behind at the grave. A man dressed in a clean black suit, under his uniform, black umbrella, of the funeral attendees walked towards us, introducing himself as his grandfather's lawyer. He pulled out a few documents from his suitcase and began to read the contents out loud.
And now, I shall read Harold Anderson's last will and testament.
Only my parents and I were allowed to be present at my grandfather's will. It was under strict request of his lawyer, and there were only was a reason why.
And to my dearest granddaughter, I give my estate, all the furniture and decor that resides within the house.
I
shall
got a
also
house?
be given to my granddaughter.
I got a house. I couldn't believe my ears. I had earned the family estate at 18. That was impossible, yet it was written in my own grandfather's hand.
He passed the family estate to her? Why am I not surprised?
Dear.
Well, did he say anything about what will become of the CEO and chairman position of the Anderson Toys Company?
No. It is presumed that the vice chairman will succeed the position.
Uh-oh.
Even to the bitter end, he wouldn't give in. Oh, what a stubborn old man.
Shaking his head, my father turned to face my mother with a serious expression on his face.
About the estate. Should we send her there to get used to the building? It'll be a good place for her to live after high school.
Are you sure we should?
Why not? This would be a good experience for her.
I don't like you.
Honey, what do you think?
Sure. Ellipsy. I really wasn't sure what to say. Why did my grandfather think that I was appropriate to heir to the mansion? Was I ready to live on my own?
Well, that seems to be it. We'll be taking our leave now. I'm sure the little heiress needs some time to adjust.
Ass.
David!
Even though she raised her voice, my dad wordlessly began walking back to the car, disinterested.
Don't mind him, honey.
What a butthole.
I think that your grandfather's passing really affected him. Why don't we get back home for now?
That's no excuse. You can go ahead to the car, Mom. I think I need some time alone with Grandpa.
Oh, of course. Take all the time you need.
She gave me a quick hug and then hurried after my dad. I looked around the funeral grounds, which was completely empty. save for a sullen-looking grave that laid in front of me. I'm sure that if Grandpa were in charge of arranging all of this, it would have been much different. It was blatantly obvious that my dad was in charge of the whole event. Who else would bury their own family the same day they pass? Is that even possible? Because you gotta do all the embalming and all that stuff. I don't think that's possible. And you have to make all that... I don't know. Whatever. Everyone knew my grandfather's love of toys, yet the grave was a mere stone slab on the ground, void of any children's toys. My dad didn't even bother putting flowers. His disdain for my grandfather was almost pitiful. Sorry, Grandpa. I tried to force out some words, but the only thing that came out of my mouth was a choked sob. You told me to stay strong, but right now I'm the farthest from it, like that one time a long time ago. Grandpa!
Oh, it's so good to see you again, sweetie.
I was swept into a giant bear hug and we both laughed as he swung me around like an airplane. It was one of my favorite things about seeing my grandfather, the way he greeted me. Unlike my father, my grandfather was loving and playful even as I grew older. Sorry that Daddy couldn't be here today. He said that he wasn't feeling too good again. It had always been like that. Dad missed every visit with Grandpa's house, citing that he was busy with work or wasn't feeling well.
Is that so? Well, that's okay. Daddy can come around next time.
He
Enjoy
won't, though.
him, right?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah. So what are we going to do today, Grandpa? Mommy says that there's a new dessert cafe open in town. Maybe we could go.
Oh, I would love to. But I've been so busy with the company these days. We're actually working on a little something. Would you like to see?
Sure. Yes. Is that a new toy?
It is. I was designing a new line of them, but I feel like something's missing. You don't think you could help me out, could you?
Sure. Of course. He placed the toy in my hands with a smile, and I inspected it carefully. It was beautifully crafted, and obviously a lot of work was put into it. There was one thing, though.
So, what do you think?
I think the heart on its chest should light up when you hug it. It'll be like it's alive, and it can even be like a nightlight before you sleep. He stroked his chin, considering my input, while nodding his head. After a few moments of silent deliberation, he turned to me with a chuckle.
That's a great idea. I'll get to changing it right away. You're always like my little lucky charm, dear. You always know what to add to make the perfect toy.
Thank you. Aha. Well, I hope I can be like you one day, Grandpa.
You want to make toys as well?
I guess. Well, making people happy is the best feeling in the world. I don't know if I want to make toys when I grow up, though.
Don't worry too much about it. You have plenty of time to decide. Besides, you should do what makes you happy as well.
That makes sense. Daddy doesn't think of it the same way, though.
Your father. I'm sure he just wants the best for you.
Sure he does. I'm not so sure about that.
Sweetie, look at me.
I'm looking at you. He bent down to look at me at eye level with a serious look on his face.
As much as your father may say something that doesn't make sense now, you must remember that he's always thinking about you. He loves you. There's no doubt about that. And you need to love him just as equally.
I don't hate Daddy. I really do love him. I don't know why he's like this, though.
Your father and I have had some difficulties with each other in the past. But it's nothing that you should be concerned about.
I had heard tidbits of this from my mother and various other people. The only people who stayed quiet were my father and my grandfather. Both of them refrained from saying a word on the subject matter, but it was clear that whatever happened set up a wall between them. It's hard though, trying to pretend as if there was nothing wrong.
However, no matter what, you have to stay strong. You're a big girl already, and
I'm a big girl.
well, there'll come a day when it seems like it's you against the world. But always remember that your family and friends will be here with you.
I don't know if my father will be.
Daddy?
I don't know about Daddy.
School, me. We'll stand together to get through it.
How can you be so sure of that?
Because we'll be right here and here.
He pointed his finger to my head first, then pointed a finger at my
So
chest.
stay strong. Promise?
Promise. For a moment, he looked almost sad, pleading, but as quickly as it come, the expression disappeared from his face and was all the smiles once again. Promise. Upon hearing that, my grandpa let out a burst of laughter and stood
Alright
up.
then. Enough of that. How about I whip up some special homemade dessert? I know I can't accompany you at that new cafe, but we sure can talk and eat while I cook and do some paperwork.
Sure. Homemade dessert, I'll race you to the kitchen.
Hey, slow down there. I'm not what I used to be.
You willed me the very home I loved to see you in. Why? Why would you think I would be ready, especially after this? A surge of anger bubbled within me, but quickly swallowed it. There was no reason to be getting mad, especially when the person in question was no longer there. I'm sorry, it's hard to stay calm when you've left me so many questions, especially about what happened between you and Dad. Ha! What am I doing talking to a grave? A vision blurred and I suddenly realized that I was crying. My face heated up as tears rolled down my cheeks. Whoa, I got another follow. Thank you. I'll bring some flowers later. I miss you. Grandpa, I'll try my best to fulfill my promise I gave you, even in the world might turn against me. I left the grave, wiping my tears hastily so my parents wouldn't see.
Well, it's time to head back home. I'll cook up your favorite lasagna.
Thing. Thanks, Mom. However, Dad didn't speak the entire drive home. I wanted to talk to him, but after this moment at the funeral, I wasn't sure if that was a good idea.
It's about time we took off those dreary black clothes.
Gathering my courage, I decided then it was time to talk. Dad, could I ask you something?
Go ahead.
I don't think I want to. Why do you want me to move into the estate so soon?
I thought I made that rather clear. The college near your grandfather's house is well known for its business program. You are planning to major in business, yes?
I guess.
Right after you graduate from high school, you'll just live there and can easily commute to and from school. It's a perfect fit for you.
But it's so sudden. You just decided so quickly right after the funeral.
Don't be so sensitive. If you're like that in the real world, you'll be crushed.
Okay. I'm just saying that maybe we could talk a bit more about my future. In reply, my father rubbed his temples and sighed quietly.
After you graduate from college, you'll work at Anderson Family Toys. I have connections since I am part of the board of directors, so you will be guaranteed a spot. That is what we talked about before, yes?
Yes. But what if...
Stop mumbling!
Jeez. What if I don't want to work there?
Don't be silly. It's the family company. Our company. I'm not just going to hand it over to some incompetent vice chairman.
He came closer to me and his face softened.
This is all for the best, okay? You may not know it right now, but you will appreciate it later.
For some reason, When I heard him say that, something snapped in me. I wasn't exactly sure what it was, but it made me feel so angry. Do you even care that grandfather passed away?
Of course I do.
Well, everything seems fine and dandy to you. Things couldn't be better.
Excuse me? I don't like your tone, young lady.
It's like nothing even happened at all, like you just ignored the fact he's no longer here.
Do not raise your voice at me.
Fight? What did he ever do to you to deserve this? My father, his face hardened, crossed his arms, and erupted in angry laughter.
Ha! You sure place him upon a pedestal, like he's some kind of venerated god or something. It makes me sick.
Is that it? Are you happy seeing grandfather dead? While everyone was grieving, were you holding yourself back from laughing in everyone's face? Did you feel just happier seeing him lie in the graveyard? Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. A flash of rage went across his face and he whipped the back of his hand across my cheek.
You don't know anything! Running your mouth like somehow you know everything that went on, when you're just a little girl that doesn't know how to keep her mouth shut!
I think that's more than an oops. That's just a wow.
You did not know my father! You did not know what he was capable of!
Okay.
Is everything all right? What happened?
Nothing. I'm not hungry. I think I'll just go upstairs.
Honey, wait!
I quickly turned and ran up the stairs to my room, slamming the door behind me. My breath came in short pants, for a while I was just leaned against the door to my bedroom, eventually sliding down to sit against it. How did things become like this? My cheeks still throbbed, and attentively stood up and looked at the mirror to see how it looked. Hopefully it doesn't bruise. Ha, what am I saying? Tears formed in the corner of my eyes, but I blinked them away back rapidly. I couldn't cry for a second time today. I needed to be stronger than that.
Are you all right? Your father told me nothing happened, but you know your father.
Of course you said nothing happened. I'm fine. I just lost my appetite.
The lasagna's done, though, and I don't want you skipping any meals. Are you sure?
That was fast to cook lasagna. It takes like over an hour. Yeah, don't worry about me, Mom. I'll come downstairs to eat later.
You're not telling me the whole story.
Nope. I just don't want to eat right now.
Please, dear. Tell me what's going on. I wish you would tell me why you're being like this.
I wanted to tell her. A part of me was screaming to tell her what Dad had done, but at the same time, she couldn't fix it anything. Besides, I was moving out regardless. Like her bed. I remained silent, letting the event remain in the past.
Oh, I'll leave your food on the table if you want to eat it later.
Finally, my mom left me alone. It was strange to think that she was only a few inches away from me, only separated by a single wooden door. I really didn't know what to do. I needed to do something, anything to get my mind off what just happened. Anything would be better than thinking any more about the pain still radiating from my cheek. I was going to move in my grandfather's house tomorrow. I should probably pack my stuff so I would be prepared for tomorrow. Yeah, that was a good idea. I should start packing. I opened my closet, rummaging around for a while before I finally found 2 large bags, pulling them out onto the floor of my room. I then began to empty them out my drawers, cabinets, and put so that I could bring things with me. I didn't have much to bring other than just clothes and some toiletries. It was bizarre to think that I didn't have any personal belongings. It wasn't like my luggage was completely devoid of them, but certainly I didn't have many things in my room I would miss if I suddenly left the house. Shook my head to get rid of those thoughts. If it were going to be my new home, it would have to feel like it, one way or another. I was going to make it a home. Just as I was packing, my cell phone began to ring and vibrate in my pocket. I slid my phone out of my pocket and answered it while slowly easing into my bed. Who could possibly be calling?
Hey Anderson, you there?
Oh, Suzu.
Is everything alright?
It's
We
weird
were
that my
worried
friend
about
calls
you,
me by
so
my
we
last
decided to
name.
call. Hello?
I'm really glad you guys called. My voice managed to come out, though it was only in a whisper.
What happened? Are you okay?
Well, I slowly began to tell them about the funeral that afternoon. Small silence followed. I was done recounting what happened, and to my relief, Naomi finally spoke up.
I can't begin to imagine how you must be feeling right now. I'm so sorry. Do you want us to come over right now?
No, it's okay. My dad isn't in a good mood. So could we just keep talking on the phone like this?
Of course! We'd stay on the phone until the crack of dawn, right, Suzu? Yeah. We're always here if you need us. After all, we wouldn't be the awesome triple threat trio without you, right?
Why'd you name the company that? Yeah.
Triple threat trio? That sounds like the name of a gang.
Naomi, stop.
Yeah, I mean, we're all taking on the world together. We've got to sound somewhat scary, or else no one's going to take us seriously. What's with you and naming things? You've got to step up your game, Naomi. Falling behind to the cool kids like Anderson and me. Tisk tisk. Hey! I'm a cool kid! If anything, I'd say you'd have to step up your game.
We chatted cheerfully of all sorts of things. Very soon I'd forgotten about the events of the day and was engaged in conversation about Naomi's favorite TV show, some program called Herlock. You mean Sherlock? Or are we just avoiding copyright? We all agreed that the actor playing the particular character certainly had a very distinct look about him. With a very long overcoat and a scarf wrapped around. Yeah, we're avoiding copyright. We had many disagreements about who we thought was the coolest character. Yeah, he's got really high cheekbones, and his eyes are so pretty, though I do prefer Justin and those bonus, and his bonus actors just so sassy. I looked at the clock came out wall and realized how late it was. Whoa, it's 1 a.m. already? Sorry to keep you guys up so late. I think I'm gonna hit the hay tonight. See you at school tomorrow. I should probably shower and go to bed. I can't believe I stayed up this late just to talk to my friends. But it was really nice. Well, to the bathroom I go. I took a relaxing shower. Nothing beat the hot water feeling clean. After drying myself, I prompted in my pajamas and crawled into bed. A nice hot shower after a long day. I'm so glad to finally be in bed. It's been a really long day. I knew it was wishing for something to change back in class, but certainly wasn't expecting any of those things to happen today. I have to go back to school tomorrow. Ugh. I curled up on my side tightly, wrapped around the blankets around me. I really wasn't in the mood to returning to school, but my dad would probably make me go just for the sake of it. Time to go to sleep. I reached out the lamp on my nightstand and turned off the lights. However, my mind was so lost in the passing of my grandfather and thought of inheriting something so big that it haunted my mind the entire night until the next morning. Oh God. I shook my head, oh God, thank you, head to try to clear this sleepiness out of me, but to no avail. I didn't get any sleep last night. It's time to wake up already? Wait, school. I soon realized I had to go to school. I slid out of bed and looked in the vanity mirror. That's a relief. Luckily, there was barely a bruise on my cheek. You had to squint to see it. I doubted anyone would notice it unless they leaned in really close. Come on, Mike. Breathing out a sigh, I got dressed, took my backpack, caught the bus to school. It wasn't even hours before everyone heard the news. I was approached in school and was given condolences about my loss. However, that wasn't what shocked my friends.
Wait, so you have the whole Anderson house to yourself? Lucky as hell, man!
I guess.
Quit being so sensitive, Naomi. Quit being so vulgar, Suzu.
Naomi's right.
Oh, man, come on! See? She knows about proper public taste.
I know how to be a lady. Sheesh.
Guys, I'm going there right after school today because my parents want me to get used to living there.
Seriously? It hasn't even been a day since you came back to school.
I know, but my parents want me to try living there as soon as possible.
Still, that's really fast. Are you going to be okay?
No. Of course, haha. But even in the comfort of my best friend's life seemed to be testing me. Oof.
Hey! Don't go around shoving people like that.
What the hell?
Whoops. Did I strike a nerve, Capini?
That's the popular girl. Whoop. She let out a small laugh and twirled her hair around her finger. Lizette, one of the last people I want to see today.
It's not me you should be apologizing to.
Oh, Anderson. Hey, how's it going?
I'm alright.
Haven't you already heard, Lizette?
Of what?
Her grandfather's passing.
Ah, well, I'm sorry about that. I don't really watch a lot of news.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't really sound like you mean it.
I do mean it. Earnestly. Why would—
Typical Capini. Isn't her family involved with the mafia or something? I wouldn't be surprised if she brought out a bat from behind her back right this moment.
Who the heck? I nearly had forgotten the crowd that followed Lizette, which mostly comprised of people that no one wanted to see on a typical school day. No one had the slightest idea why they followed Lizette around persistently, but they labeled themselves as social equals to her.
That is out of line! Suzu comes from an honest family!
Are we just assuming that she's mafia because she's Italian? That's kind of racist.
Says the one whose family profits from political scandals.
Yeah, your dad doesn't make anything unless he's in the court with dirty politicians.
Hey, let's all calm down for a second, alright? I'm sure Anderson needs some time to recuperate. I mean, what just happened? We need to give her some respect.
Is she serious? Just stop. Stop acting like that already. Like you feel sorry for me.
What are you talking about?
She's faking it. I'm sure you're happy seeing me like this. Like, you already have everything you wanted. Now seeing me like this, life couldn't get any better. Bitterness seeped into me and words flying out of my mouth without a filter. But honestly, I didn't care. I was so consumed by anger that I only saw Lizette in front of me. What exactly am I to you? Just another part of your obstacle course? Is that what I am? I'm sick of it. I'm sick of all the charades. I'm sick of you. Gasps rose from the crowd. I was brought back to school hallway. Even my friends beside me looked surprised. One girl looked like she was going to speak up, but Lizette held her hand to stop her. There was an emotion on her face that I couldn't quite make out, but I could see a form of pity in her eyes. No, don't you dare pity me. I looked away from her. I didn't want to see emotion that her eyes when she was talking to me. She didn't have the right to look at me like that.
I'm sorry. I know your grandfather passing away must have really taken a toll on your emotions.
I don't think she's real. She stepped towards me and put her hands on my shoulder, giving me a tiny smile as if for old time's sakes. But for some reason, I didn't feel comforted at all. Not that I was just angry at her, but her expression on her face when she learned leaned in close to me and contorted into something complex. Something different about her. I couldn't quite place my finger on it, but something about her had definitely changed.
Well, I'll be going for now. Track meet responsibilities and all of that stuff. See you later.
Bye. Something about Lizette made me feel uncomfortable. I wasn't just angry, but so uneasy. What was it? I had never seen her like this before. But I decided to pay no further attention to it. She continued running down the hallway with a gaggle of her friends behind her. I refocused my attention to Miss Phillips, who was walking down the hall towards me.
Is everything all right, girls?
Yeah, everything's
Nothing
fine.
we couldn't handle, Mrs. P. Just a bunch of snobs. Suzu, hush! It was nothing, Mrs. Phillips.
I see. Well, Miss Anderson, please accept my condolences for your loss.
Thank you, Miss Phillips.
Your grandfather was a good man. He really upheld the philanthropy of his company's policies, and the money that went towards charity, too.
I know, he was amazing. I really looked up to him, and I want to be as good as he was.
Well, I know that you'll be as great as your grandfather.
Hell yeah, she will. She'll be 10 times better than her grandfather.
Would I? Would I really be better than my grandfather? Everyone seemed to have high expectations for me. I wanted to do my best and make my family proud, but to be better than my grandfather? I wasn't sure about that. From outside the school window, I saw a familiar blue car pull up to the curb. Undoubtedly, it was my father in the driver's seat. Oh, my ride's here. Well, I guess I'll see you